Have you ever imagined looking into a mirror and not seeing yourself, but someone you barely recognize, someone older, someone from the future? It sounds impossible, sounds like science fiction. Yet across the world, ordinary people are reporting experiences that suggest time might not be as simple as we think. They are reporting encounters with their future selves. What would you do if your older self appeared before you? Would you run? Would you listen? Or would you question your own sanity? Time as we know it is linear. Past, present, future. Always moving forward. That is what science has taught us. That is what our lives are built upon. But what if this understanding is incomplete? What if time is not a straight line, but a layer of overlapping realities, where past, present, and future can touch even briefly? Consider John, a man from Ohio. One quiet night, he stared into his bedroom mirror and saw a face he knew, yet could not place. It was older. The eyes were familiar but heavy with experience. The face was undeniably his, yet changed, altered, marked by time he had not yet lived. He rubbed his eyes, thinking it a trick of light or fatigue, but the photograph on the wall behind him caught his attention. In it, the man he saw reflected in the mirror was staring back. The photograph had changed overnight. How could this happen? How could an image of his future self appear in the present? John is not alone. People across the globe report similar experiences. A woman in Japan encountered an older version of herself at a subway station. The encounter lasted only moments, but it left her shaken to the core. She remembered every detail. The way her future self held herself, the slight sadness in her eyes, the subtle scar above her lip. Years later, the memory proved eerily accurate. Could our minds somehow glimpse the future? Or was it something far stranger, something science has yet to explain? Skeptics will tell you these are coincidences. They will say déjà vu, hallucinations, or cognitive biases. But what about the details that match reality years later? What about the experiences verified by photographs, video footage, and multiple witnesses? These are not just dreams. These are events that leave real evidence in their wake. The phenomenon of meeting one's future self is not a new idea. Ancient texts and legends hint at it. Buddhist scriptures describe visions where a person meets themselves across time. Nostradamus wrote of prophetic encounters that eerily resemble modern accounts. Could humanity have been aware of this mysterious connection all along, only understanding it incompletely? There are documented modern cases that defy explanation. A young artist in Italy in the early 1900s described a vision of himself decades later, painting works he had not yet created. When he grew older, he realized that every detail matched. The patterns repeat across centuries. The coincidences become statistically impossible. And now, these encounters are happening in ways that are physical, tangible, and verifiable. Photographs that appear to predict the future. Encounters in public spaces that leave lasting impressions. Messages delivered before events occur. Ordinary people are witnessing the impossible, and some of these experiences can be traced, documented, and corroborated. Consider Vladimir in Russia. One morning, he received a photograph in the mail. It showed a man standing in a room he had never been in, wearing clothes he had never owned. He stared at it, disbelief etched across his face. Weeks later, the room was built exactly as shown in the photograph. The image had predicted the future. How could it be explained? Could a photograph, an object of the past, hold information from the future? Maria in New York had an encounter on the crowded streets of Manhattan. She saw herself older, more worn, a small scar above her eyebrow, standing on the corner. She described it in detail to researchers. A year later, she compared notes with her older self. Every detail she had described matched perfectly. She had not known these things. She had not imagined them. Yet they were real. In Japan, multiple people have reported seeing older versions of themselves in public transport. Not dreams, not hallucinations, but fleeting encounters with physical presence. Years later, when these individuals compared stories, the details aligned in a way that defies explanation. What is happening here? Are these glimpses of a parallel timeline? Is our future somehow intersecting with our present? Or is there a hidden aspect of the universe that allows consciousness to reach forward in time? Einstein showed us that time is not fixed, that it stretches and bends depending on speed and gravity. Time is relative. It is not a straight line. Could these encounters be a natural, rare bending of time, a moment when the future touches the present? Theoretical physicists have imagined closed time-like curves, Tipler cylinders, and Gödel universes. These are not just ideas. They are real theoretical constructs suggesting that, under certain circumstances, the future can communicate with the present. Even quantum physics hints at the impossible. Entangled particles can influence each other across space and perhaps across time. Could consciousness, at some level, also experience these echoes as encounters with our future selves? Could the universe itself be leaving breadcrumbs for us to follow? And what of the photographs, the videos, the moments frozen in time that seem impossible to explain? Are they anomalies? Or are they evidence that reality is far more fluid than we have imagined? Could the universe occasionally allow glimpses into moments yet to come? Think about this. Every choice you make shapes your future. Every thought, every action. And yet, these people are glimpsing versions of themselves shaped by choices they have not yet made. Are these glimpses warnings? Are they messages? Or simply windows into possibilities? In the next chapter, we will explore the patterns hidden within these encounters, the cases backed by science, and the evidence that might finally make us question our understanding of time itself. We will ask questions that science cannot fully answer. We will uncover stories that are stranger than fiction, yet meticulously documented. And we will explore whether these encounters are coincidences or a glimpse into a reality we are not meant to understand. Stay with us, because what comes next will challenge everything you think you know about time, reality, and yourself. Because sometimes your future self is closer than you ever imagined. Have you ever wondered if the future is trying to reach out to you? If even for a moment your life is intersecting with possibilities you cannot yet comprehend? Part 1 introduced us to the mystery, the strange encounters, the people who glimpsed themselves decades ahead. But now we dive deeper. We explore the patterns, the evidence, and the cases that are so consistent that science cannot ignore them. Time, as we perceive it, is fluid. It is not a strict sequence of events, ticking steadily forward. Modern physics tells us that it can bend, stretch, and even loop. And when it does, strange things happen. When timelines intersect, anomalies appear. When consciousness interacts with these anomalies, glimpses of the future can occur. Consider a study of repeated encounters, documented in multiple countries. Researchers found that the majority of these sightings have common characteristics. The future self is usually older, wiser, marked by subtle injuries or changes that reflect events yet to occur. The encounters are brief, often lasting seconds, yet they are remembered with perfect clarity. Many include warnings, guidance, or hints of events that have not yet happened. One of the most compelling cases comes from Brazil. A man named Ricardo reported seeing an older version of himself on a crowded street. The older Ricardo had a distinct scar across his eyebrow, a scar he would only acquire years later in a work accident. He described his future self's mannerisms, posture, and even the way he moved his hands. Months later, the event he had predicted occurred almost exactly as he had described. How could someone predict their own future so precisely? In South Korea, a woman named Minji had an encounter while traveling on a train. She saw herself 20 years older, seated in the corner, holding a notebook with intricate drawings. She never owned such a notebook at the time, yet years later, after a chain of events she could not have foreseen, she found herself exactly where she had seen her older self, holding the same notebook now filled with sketches she had never imagined. Across continents, these encounters share patterns. Glimpses of future self in public spaces, recognition without prior introduction, physical or psychological markers that only appear in the future, and a profound emotional impact on the witness. The consistency is remarkable. The phenomenon cannot easily be explained by coincidence, imagination, or memory errors. Science struggles here. Some physicists suggest that these experiences may result from microtime loops, subtle interactions of consciousness with the quantum field, or as yet unidentified temporal anomalies. The notion that the future can influence the present is considered fringe by mainstream science. Yet, the documented consistency across cultures, times, and cases forces us to question what if the future is not as fixed as we think. Even Einstein's relativity allows for surprising possibilities. According to theory, extreme gravitational forces or near-light speed travel could distort time to such an extent that events in the future become observable in the present. While human beings do not travel near the speed of light in daily life, these encounters suggest that perhaps consciousness itself, or certain unknown mechanisms in the brain, could allow us to perceive fragments of the future. Then there are photographs that defy explanation. In several documented cases, witnesses claim that old photographs of themselves mysteriously depict their future appearance, including scars, facial expressions, and even clothing they did not yet own. One man in Germany received a faded photo in the mail. The figure in the photograph was himself, 25 years older, standing in a house that had not yet been built. Weeks later, the house existed exactly as depicted. Could a simple photograph carry information from decades ahead? We must also consider the psychological impact. Those who meet their future selves often report a sense of urgency, a compulsion to change something, or warnings that they barely understand at the time. Some experience anxiety, some disbelief, some awe, but over time, many realize that these encounters influenced critical decisions in their lives. Could the future be subtly guiding us, nudging us, preparing us for what is to come? And yet, skeptics will argue that these are coincidences, misperceptions, or hallucinations. But what about the rare cases documented by multiple witnesses? When several people observe an older version of the same individual at the same time, in the same place, describing the same details, these are not hallucinations. These are collective experiences that challenge the very foundation of linear time. One particularly chilling case comes from Canada. A man named Samuel reported seeing an older version of himself in a park. The encounter lasted less than a minute, yet he remembers it vividly. He described every detail, the wrinkles, the gait, the expression of worry in his eyes. 10 years later, he found himself walking through the same park, now older, and realized that the stranger he had seen years ago had been himself. The timeline had intersected, the memory had been preserved, and the evidence remained. What can we learn from these encounters? Perhaps the universe is far stranger than we have imagined. Perhaps time is not a prison, but a network of overlapping paths where past, present, and future exist simultaneously, able to influence each other in ways we cannot yet quantify. And perhaps sometimes our future selves can reach back, not to change us, but to make sure we are aware, prepared, or simply reminded that reality is more mysterious than it seems. In the next chapter, we will confront the most shocking cases yet. We will examine the evidence that challenges modern physics and explore whether these encounters are merely coincidences, glitches in our perception, or undeniable proof that the future is already with us, watching, waiting, and occasionally speaking. Stay with us, because the next revelations may change the way you perceive yourself, your choices, and the very nature of time. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to truly meet yourself from the future? To witness the person you will become, standing in front of you, older, wiser, carrying the weight of experiences you have yet to live. For most of us, this is unimaginable, terrifying, and utterly impossible. And yet, for a growing number of people around the world, this is reality. In this final chapter, we will explore the most shocking, documented, and inexplicable encounters. We will dive deeper into the science, the psychology, and the consequences of meeting your future self. Prepare yourself, because what you are about to hear will challenge everything you believe about time, reality, and your own existence. Our journey begins with a question. If time is truly flexible, if the past, present, and future can intersect, why do some people glimpse their future selves while most of us do not? What makes these moments possible? Is it chance, luck, or something far more mysterious? Some researchers believe that certain individuals are particularly sensitive to temporal anomalies. Others suggest that consciousness itself might extend beyond the boundaries of what we perceive as the present, allowing brief, direct contact with future states of self. The evidence, though limited, is compelling. Consider the case of Lars, a man in Norway, who experienced what he describes as the most terrifying encounter of his life. One evening, walking alone in a dimly lit street, he saw a figure emerging from the shadows. At first, he thought it was a stranger, but as the figure came closer, Lars froze. The face was unmistakably his own. Older, hardened by life, every detail of the face perfectly aligned with what Lars would look like 20 years later. The figure did not speak. It did not move aggressively. It simply stood there, staring at him with a look that was part warning, part despair. Lars says that for days afterward, he could not eat, sleep, or work. The image haunted him, an unshakable imprint of a future self he had not yet lived. In Russia, a woman named Elena reported seeing herself in a reflection in a shop window. At first, she thought it was another customer, but as she looked closer, she realized the reflection did not match her current appearance. The face was older, the eyes weary, and the posture unfamiliar. Elena reached out, touching the glass, and felt an inexplicable sense of connection. A year later, when she reviewed old photographs, she realized the reflection had predicted changes in her own appearance and demeanor that had indeed manifested. These cases are not isolated. Across continents, countless people report fleeting encounters with older versions of themselves. Some happen in public spaces unnoticed by others. Some occur in mirrors, photographs, or even dreams. Yet what is common across these experiences is their vividness, their consistency, and their undeniable impact. The witnesses are often compelled to reflect on their choices, to alter decisions, or to reevaluate the path of their lives. Could the future, in these rare instances, be guiding the present? Could these glimpses be warnings, nudges, or messages? Science attempts to explain these events, but the answers are far from conclusive. Einstein's theories of relativity show that time is not absolute. Under extreme conditions, such as near light-speed travel or intense gravitational fields, time can stretch, bend, and even loop. While humans do not experience these extremes in daily life, some physicists hypothesize that consciousness itself may have the capacity to perceive temporal anomalies. Quantum mechanics adds another layer of complexity. Particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, and entangled particles can influence each other across vast distances and potentially across time. If particles behave in such strange ways, could consciousness do the same? Could our perception occasionally synchronize with future states of reality, allowing us to witness versions of ourselves that are yet to exist? Then there are the photographs, the videos, and the artifacts that appear to defy time. In Germany, a man named Klaus received a photograph in the mail with no return address. The image depicted a man standing in a house that Klaus had not yet built, wearing clothing he did not yet own, with facial features he would only develop decades later. At the time, he dismissed it as a prank. Years later, after constructing the house and living through the experiences that shaped his appearance, he recognized the figure in the photograph as himself. The evidence was undeniable, yet inexplicable. In Japan, Minako experienced multiple encounters with her future self over several years. She would see herself on trains, in crowded streets, and in reflections. Each encounter presented small but specific details. The way she carried herself, subtle changes in appearance, and expressions that seemed to communicate knowledge she did not yet possess. The encounters were brief, often lasting seconds, yet the impact was profound. She reported changes in her decision-making, careful consideration of her actions, and a heightened awareness of the consequences of her choices. It was as if her future self had whispered guidance, brief but powerful. What drives these encounters? Could they be spontaneous, rare interactions with future timelines? Could consciousness be slipping into the future, momentarily observing its own existence? Some experts suggest that high emotional states, intense focus, or traumatic events may increase the likelihood of these phenomena. Others believe that the universe itself may occasionally bend, allowing glimpses of what is to come. One particularly compelling case occurred in Canada. A man named Samuel was camping in a remote forest when he encountered an older version of himself. The figure emerged from the trees, silent, and simply observed him. Samuel describes the experience as both terrifying and awe-inspiring. The older self displayed minor injuries, subtle facial lines, and a demeanor that spoke of events Samuel had not yet lived. 10 years later, Samuel reflected on the encounter and realized that his life had unfolded in alignment with the image he had seen. He was struck by the eerie accuracy of the details, as if the encounter had preserved a moment from the future and projected it into his present. Psychology also provides clues. Witnesses often describe a profound sense of déjà vu, mixed with anxiety or awe. The encounters seem to alter behavior, prompt reflection, and influence life choices. Could these events be part of an unknown cognitive process, or are they true interactions with the future? Some researchers argue that these experiences represent the mind accessing alternate temporal dimensions, suggesting that consciousness is not strictly bound by linear time. Even skeptics acknowledge the difficulty in explaining these cases. Collective witness reports, physical evidence, and photographic anomalies challenge the standard models of perception and time. When multiple independent witnesses report seeing the same older version of an individual in a specific location, the probability of hallucination or coincidence diminishes. These are experiences that demand consideration, not dismissal. Across cultures, these encounters share common themes. The future self appears older, wiser, and often carrying markers of experience yet to be lived. The experiences are brief but vivid, leaving lasting impressions on the witnesses. They provoke reflection, sometimes fear, often curiosity, and always wonder. Could our future selves be reaching back to guide us? Could they be showing us what is possible, warning us of what is to come, or simply observing the consequences of our choices? In Italy, a woman named Giulia reported seeing an older version of herself in a crowded piazza. The figure was engaged in an activity she had not yet attempted, wearing clothes she did not yet own, and holding an expression of focused determination. Giulia could not shake the encounter. Years later, she found herself replicating the scene, the actions, and even the expression. The encounter had left a lasting imprint, shaping her behavior in subtle but measurable ways. What do these encounters tell us about reality? Are they anomalies, glitches, or evidence of a multiverse where multiple timelines coexist? Could the future be more fluid than we imagine, occasionally allowing glimpses of what is to come? Some scientists hypothesize that time may be more like a web than a line, with threads that occasionally cross, overlap, or loop back. If this is true, encounters with future selves may be natural, if rare, phenomena, moments when the threads of time briefly intersect. Even if we cannot fully understand these events, the implications are staggering. We are forced to reconsider the nature of time, consciousness, and causality. The encounters suggest that reality is far more complex and mysterious than the linear world we perceive. They raise questions about destiny, free will, and the limits of human perception. Could it be that our future selves are not bound by the same constraints, able to reach back and influence, warn, or guide us in subtle ways? And what about the consequences for those who experience these encounters? Many report a profound shift in perspective,